Hello YouTube fans, Matt here, and welcome to an updated deck profile with Infernoid for the adjusted list. So I thought I'd update my deck profile of this because we got a new card for Infernoid in Wing Riders, and later on we'll be getting Last Arm Offering, which will be very good. I'll be doing a deck profile for that afterwards. But for now, we'll be doing it based on Booby Trap for the side deck of Infernoid. Booby Trap allows you to discard one card to set one continuous trap card from your hand or graveyard. You can activate it this turn, which is very good for Infernoid because they use reasoning. They'll end up milling their floodgates that they can side in, and you won't gain anything from it unless you add this, which you can discard and reset that card that you got out the deck, which is very good because Inferno can use a lot of floodgates. For example, in this side deck I've got Mask of Restrict, Anti-Spell Fragrance, Mask for Monarchs obviously, Anti-Spell Fragrance for Pendulums, Soul Drain for Mermail, and Burning Abyss, Skill Drain for Pepe, and Rivalry for Pepe as well, but also Cosmo and Monarchs. It also has options for Gozen Match, and probably a lot of other ones. Now I'm thinking of it, like Mind Drain for Psy-Frames, if you fear those for some reason. There is a lot of things you could put in this deck, counter trap wise, which would probably benefit this deck. So Booby Trap is a way of boosting that, especially if you have your Floodgate at 1 of, and you want more access to it. You could end up milling that 1 of, and then you will have an extra couple of them, to be honest, depending on how many Booby Trap E you used. So without further ado, let's go into the deck profile. We're using 2 Manunsu, as I have now slightly changed it to put in Void Imagination. This is because Performer Pals are still a very powerful deck, and so is Magician. Any Pendulum deck is very good, but since it summons from the extra deck, it allows you to plus very hard off Void Imagination. However, since this is the adjusted list, I can't main deck this because it's not the top deck. Cosmo technically is the top deck, so it's not mainable, but it is definitely sideable. So I need 2 Anunsu for that matchup. Usually I would only run 1 Anunsu and 2 Deviati because I like Deviati over Anunsu mainly. But Anunsu also allows you to out stuff like Pantheism on the Monarch because it will banish it, as well as stopping the draw. So no search as well, which is quite good. It can also board wipe as well, so if you want to go into your extra deck, you can board wipe against Monarchs. And then there's Deviati, which is Heavy Storm, does the exact same thing as Monarchs really, but it gets really match and the field spell. You can also negate monster effects, so both are good in the Monarch matchup. Probably Deviati is a little bit better, just because you can negate idea and send it banished, so it doesn't gain any graveyard effects, so that's always good. Then we have 2 Infernoid Atondal. I don't think there's any real reason to go into any rank 8s until the release of what's that card? I can't remember. Titanic Galaxy, which is great against Pendulums. If Titanic Galaxy comes out next month, which I think it is because Premium Gold usually brings out the premium pack cards, then I may change Atondal's mount in the deck, maybe bump it up 1, move something around, and then put it in. But then again, you can still make this with Decatron sending Sidesimus and Atondal itself. Then we have triple Inferno Sidesimus. Sidesimus is the best card, non-targeting banishment. Then we have Inferno Petrulia, MST, 2 Raiden. I think I was using 3, but I'm going to keep Electromagnetic Turtle in the deck since it's a Cosmo out. It stops the battle phase. All this also stops Mermail and Cyber Dragons. If they're trying to go for game, you can banish this, protect your cards. If you don't want your monsters being destroyed that turn, banish it, protect your cards. It's just very good, and if it does go to the graveyard through reasoning, it's already set up essentially. Whereas Raiden, you would get some plus back with Instant Fusion. And we all know Raiden mills 2 and then extra 2. Then triple Harmodic to combo with Decatron to bring out Omega. Then 2 Antra. I've dropped here Mace. I do love the card, but we're not in a back row format anymore. And well, there's no we haven't been back row format for a while now, but he really isn't worth it anymore at the moment. If we go back to a slower format, we could see more play of Pyramus, but for now it's not really needed. Antra is at 2 because there is non-targeting monarchs with the factor of March of the Monarchs, and Cosmo is untargetable, so it's only really works with Pepe matchups. Anything else is really not that effective. Well, Pepe and Rogue. Then triple Decatron because it's the best Infernoid until we get Left Arm Offering. Then we may be cutting down the amount of normal summons we have, but we'll still keep Decatron at 3 unless you're wanting to use like Neuraleus and Phantom of Chaos, and then you would bump down Decatron. But in most cases, you'll keep Decatron at 3. Decatron sends any Inferno to the graveyard and gains effects and its level, which is very good for getting out to Imperial Outwall. Then triple Instant Fusion to maximize Norden's access to bring out turn 1 Omega. You can technically put another Psy-Framelord Omega instead of Crimson Blader in this deck, since you can make, I have had possibilities where you can make 2 Omegas turn 1, but it's not always going to be that common, and Omega's an expensive card, so yeah. Then we have 1 for 1, which is summoning out Decatron from the deck, Regeki, because it's Regeki also outs Monarchs, Reinforced Bestiari to search out Raiden, Monster Gate, which will be searchable with Left Arm Offering, save for reasoning, but for now, Monster Gate's at 1, I'm really sad about that, but hopefully in the future, you never know, it could come back higher. Then triple Reasoning, because it's Reasoning, it's our best mill engine, 2 Charge the Light Brigade to search out any Light Swarms that we use, which is mainly Raidens, but we can also search out Lila. Then 2 Voidseer as protection from mass board wipes, 2 Twin Twisters, again to be annoying to Pendulums and Monarchs. And then finally Burial from a Different Dimension to restore all our banishment cards. Well, restore 3 of our banishment cards. For the extra deck, we've used Waller Dweller, because it's good against Mermail Monarchs and Burning Abyss. We got 1 Castel because it's Castel, Jedi Pearl for OTKs, Big Eye to steal monsters, Felgrand to negate monster effects or protect itself, Chambara because it doubles attack. No, it doesn't double attack. It can attack twice, I should say. It can attack twice. You can easily bring it out with Norden and Decatron, so it's very good for OTKs. Black Rose Dragon, it's simple, it just board wipes. Scrap Archfiend for OTKs, Stardust Spark Dragon to protect your Floodgate, since we're using a more Floodgate form for the side deck. Psy-Framelord Omega, or possibly 2 Psy-Framelord Omegas if you don't run Crimson Blader, because that restores your banished cards and disrupts your opponent's plays. Crimson Blader to destroy, when it destroys a monster, your opponent can't normal or special summon level 5 or higher monsters that turn, so great against Synchros, but it can be quite dangerous against Monarchs as long as they don't have their Aether, because they can summon that on your turn. That's why I'm thinking possibly dropping Crimson Blader for a second Psy-Framelord Omega. It was mainly for outing Yang Xing. Then we got Skylight and Red Dragon Archfiend, because it's a board wipe again for all special summon monsters, inflicts an extra 500 damage for each, and it's generally just good. Then 2 Norden to go with our instant fusions. Well, I don't think there's ever a time I've been able to resolve 3 of these, so no need for 3 of these. And then 1 Inferno Tierra to do your Void Imagination plays, because we don't have room in the side deck for it. Then for side deck we have 1 Lila, MST, 1 MST essentially, because you don't really need that many. You probably could move this into a Typhoon, to be honest, but you rather have easy access to your Imperial Iron Wall in case your opponent waits until you use your Decatron on some random target or something like that, and then they do the Imperial Iron Wall. Then we've got 1 Twin Twister because it's to out Imperial Iron Wall. I used to run Galaxy Cyclone over these, but Twin Twister technically outs it more easily and doesn't need to be sided out for Imperial Iron Wall outs. Then 2 Void Imagination, because it does like reasoning essentially. Infernoids you control become level 1 if the original levels are 2 or higher, and all battle damage your opponent takes is halved. That's why it's continuous. When your opponent has an extra deck monster, you can send it to the graveyard to fusion summon an Inferno from your deck or hand. using up to 6 monsters from your deck, which is an amazing thing that you can just send 6 of these guys to set. At maximum you can resolve 3 of her effects. Her first effect, which it requires 3 or more of different names, sends top 3 cards sends 3 cards from your extra deck to the graveyard. Usually I would send possibly some card that was dead in the matchup, Psy-Framelord Omega, and something I'm going to add back with Psy-Framelord Omega, just to add it back so we don't lose as much. I would technically run the second and third tier if I had the space, but it's a 15 card extra deck. It's a shame we don't have 20. Then 5 or more, we send top 3 cards of our deck to the graveyard, which is good as well. Then the final effect, because you won't be resolving 10 or more because you don't run Sagete or Piete. 8 or more, each player returns 3 or more of their 3 of their banished cards to the graveyard, which is very good for restoring the balance of Infernoids. And if you have something like Infernoid Tundle or Sightsummers, they contribute off Tierra, so you can continue to go have board presence with something like Deviati or Nunsu, because she's dead after she's summoned, which is a shame. If she had had some kind of effects instead, like these two, it would have been pretty nice. But essentially it's a nice way of reasoning without milling some of your other cards. Then, as I said at the beginning of this video, Booby Trap E came out, and Wing Riders is a super rare. Surprisingly hard to actually pull. I got a box and I caught 0 of them, and I've only seen a few people pull this card. But Booby Trap E, as I said, sets your continuous traps from your graveyard, and that's very good. Then we have 2 Mask Restricts in the Monarch matchup, 2 Anti-Spell Fragrance to stop pendulums going off, Soul Drain, because Murmurs are a very big problem for this deck, because they can easily OTK, especially if you get a Brick Hand, because this is Infernoid. We don't have consistency like something like Perform Pals and stuff like that. We're going to have Brick Hands because we're running so many Infernoids. It's not like we have Monster Gate 3 and Left Arm Offering here yet. It's also good against Cosmo as well, so that stops the OTK's options as well. Skill Drain, because it's Skill Drain. I used to main this, but since Monarch and Cosmo are the best decks, it's no longer viable to main deck this. And then 2 Rivalry Warlord, because this rivalry, you can only control 1 type. You can work around this. You can technically have Omega out and something like Inverse Sightsummers, but you use quite a lot of resources to keep them switching out, essentially. But Rivalry Warlords can screw over a lot of decks until they draw their MST or out. It's a shame that the trap monster for the Monarchs is Fairy as well as Aether. If it hadn't been, Monarchs would not have been out to Rivalry very effectively. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this quick deck profile for Infernoid. It's just a minor update just to show the deck's side deck, because I don't think I've done a side deck for this before, and just to talk about Booby Trap E as well, because I do love that card. But when it comes out, Titanic Galaxy is a great card to put in this extra deck, because it negates the spell card when it activates, and you can attach it as an Exceed material. You can also switch the attacking positions of what targets are getting attacked, which is pretty nice as well. So yeah, that's essentially it. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe if you enjoyed this and want to see further content. Please leave a comment below your suggestions for my deck or suggestions for my channel in general. Matt Durant signing out.